I am live, right? It is working. I was just checking that this is working. I didn't even check before the stream. Can somebody tell me in the chat room if this has been working and I've just been talking to myself for the last 20 minutes? If somebody could make a comment in the chat here on YouTube, that would be great. Because otherwise I'll have to start the live stream again. Anyone? Oh, okay. So hang on. Did it not work at all from the beginning? Did you just completely... I've been talking for 20 minutes. Did you get any of that, or should I start again? Wow, okay, alright. So I'm very sorry about that. I'm not sure why it's only just come live now, so apologize. I'm going to start again. Not a good start. Right. So let's start here with a cryptocurrency heat map. You can see that everything is in the red. Welcome. Actually, let's start with this. I've been talking for the last 20 minutes. I thought that I was live, and obviously that didn't work. So I'm going to start again. Welcome. Today is the 18th of February, and it's just coming up to 20 past 2 in the afternoon. So we start here with the cryptocurrency heat map. You can see that everything is down with very few exceptions, but we had a massive dump yesterday, so I hope you guys are all right. You can see also that in the stock market we had a big drop yesterday, and it is carrying on today. So there's a narrative for this. Obviously there's geopolitical events. I think people are blaming the Russians and the hike in the Federal Reserve inflation prints and stuff. So that's not surprising. Okay, so obviously everything is down, including Disney and McDonald's. Looking at the Deribit options contract for February on Bitcoin, you can see that the price, max pain price, is back at $41,000. I highlighted this for you guys last week, that they, for you guys that don't know, this options expiry date is on the 25th of February. This is for the whole month's contract. There's around about $1.5 billion notional value for this contract. And usually what happens is 2 weeks, or leading up to 2 weeks to 1 week just before the end of the month, price on the chart, price of Bitcoin tends to gravitate towards max pain price. What is max pain price? Effectively is just the price at which most of these contracts will expire worthless. Okay, so historically you can see that for the whole of the month of February, or pretty much for the whole of the month of February, volatility has just been flat and going down, especially here on the options contract. So that's it for the options. I think, like I said, $41,000 was expected. The whole of last week I've been talking about this level, and that's exactly where we're at right now. In terms of the order book, you can see here on Binance there's quite a few little large orders coming up in terms of buy orders. The sell orders are heavy, but nothing really significant. And you can see that in Coinbase and Bitstamp, it's a little bit thin. There's a few orders here, but the great majority of orders, especially here on Binance, are much lower, around about $40,000. Okay, 40,180. That you've got a 220 Bitcoin order here on Bitfinex. This is a whale exchange. And I would pay attention to this, okay? This is a nice big order here. This is nearly $10 million. It's about $7 or $8 million, I believe. No, it's more than that, actually. But yeah, 220 Bitcoin at around about $4,200 level. This is just a limit order book, okay? These can get pulled, and they do get pulled all the time. They're just spoofs a lot of the time. A guy with a big position wouldn't be advertising it like this on the order book, so make of that what you will. But yeah, the books are looking very thin here on the buy side, on the bid side, and on the ask side are looking a little bit thicker. So anyway, starting again with the daily chart here on Coinbase. Now this is on Bybit, so let's start with the Coinbase chart. So first of all, I'm going to take these balance areas out. If you guys been here long enough, you know that I use these volume profiles to dictate where the price is likely to go. And so here we are. We've got one here anchored from the 1st of well, it's actually from the 28th of December there, but I'll put it from the 1st of January 2021 to now, and you can see that the price stalled at this low volume area here. Okay, the price stalled there. This is also the 2021 VWAP. That's basically where the VWAP closed on the yearly VWAP closed in 2021, and the price stalled there and it came back down. We bounced on the monthly VWAP, and when we bounced on that, we'd already printed a higher high, like I said to you guys last week. This is a little bit bullish. We bounced there and we came back and tested the highs. Okay, of course we couldn't take the low volume node, or we couldn't take the previous highs, so we just dumped. Okay, the first target that I said was the monthly VWAP. Of course we went straight through that. We didn't hold around there very long, as you can see here on the hourly chart. You can see that we only held there for about 2 hours, and then the price, as soon as we lost the monthly VWAP, came back down and we tested the yearly VWAP, which is actually not showing here. Let's have a look. Here we go, the yearly VWAP. Okay, you can see the price tested that, we lost that, and we got below it. Okay, so that is the anatomy of what happened, and I hope that you guys listened on Wednesday and on Monday that I said that this was going to dump to $40,000 and you didn't get caught out, or you didn't long at the top. So I hope I helped you make a little bit of money and keep on the right side of the trades. So anyway, I'm going to take this monthly VWAP off now. And again, we're just kind of like looking at the daily chart. You can see now that we've entered this balance area. Okay, so I'm going to put the balance. You can see that these rectangles are just the highlight where these high volume clusters are. That's what I refer to as balance. Okay, so we've lost the previous balance area, which is this blue rectangle, and we're now in the green area here, in this balance area. Okay, so what the bulls want to see here on Bitcoin really is the price to get rejected here very, very quickly away from this balance area and get back into this one here, into this high volume cluster in the middle here. Okay, and we want to be rotating sideways inside of here, or at least give us a chance to test this resistance at $46,000. At the moment we're not seeing that just yet. Okay, but bottoms take time. It doesn't just, you don't just catch a bottom by sort of like you know, catching a falling knife. It doesn't work like that. So what I expect the price to do now is to, and I'll explain this narrative, but we've printed a double bottom here pretty much. Okay, so I expect the price to carry on engineering liquidity at this level, right? And what happens when we engineer liquidity like this is that a lot of people start positioning themselves, right? So everybody that is long, that thinks that it's going to go up, is going to have their stops in an obvious place, which is just below the price, and everybody that's short is going to have their shorts. Everybody that's short is going to have their stops just above the price, just like that. Okay, so this is called engineering liquidity, and as a result of that, anybody that wants to fill their big orders is taking advantage of this liquidity in order to fill their orders. Okay, so two scenarios can happen here. The bullish case scenario is that we actually come down below here, round about where this is previous resistance, 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 and resistance again. This is a very thin candle here, very inefficient candle here, right? So the price will travel very quickly through here. If a whale was to dump a little bit, it was going to break down here, right? It would attract all of the breakout traders, and it would take out everybody that's long. It would take out all of their stops, right? So price comes down here, raids the stops, and then rallies up, right? So what do they achieve with this? They fill their bags with longs on the backside of this liquidity here. So everybody that was long this liquidity here, what is this? They're market sell orders, right? So if they fill their longs against market sell orders, it doesn't move the price. So you can fill a very big bag at these levels, right? So the price comes down here, all the breakout traders jump in as well. There's a flurry of activity because everybody thinks that this is going back to here, right? And then, right, even the people that were short at this level are going to get wrecked because all their stops are above here, right? So when the price gets to eventually to this level here, everybody that's short have got market buy orders here, which is their stops, right? a stop of a short is basically a market buy order. So this cascade, there's a cascading liquidation, and the price rally is much higher. Okay, and that's what essentially the anatomy of a short squeeze. So this is what I expect to happen. I'm quite bullish. I'm already long. I've bought a little bit in spot as well, so I'm not just making this shit up. I'm quite happy to be wrong. I can make money on the way down. But I think that this was the correction that we needed, and we're going to go a little bit higher. And that's just because of the break in market structure, okay? We had a high there, and we just broke that high. So I'll explain the bearish case scenario as well, but for now, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a little bit of sideways price action. Bottoms, like I said, they do take time, okay? They don't just happen like that with a falling knife. You can see here, for example, it's a very good example. Nice big dump, okay? Price starts going sideways like that. Does it go straight up? No, of course not. It came and raided the lows, right? So this here is a raid. Raided the lows, and boom, we rallied, right? So that was that. There's other examples here. For example, equal lows here. Where does the price go to before it rallies? Down here. It raids the lows, right? And it's the same on the upside, okay? We had a print at a high there. Where before dumping, what did the price do? It raided the highs there, right? It raided the previous high. So they're called swing failure patterns or liquidation trading or whatever you want to call it. So this is the narrative. I think that actually, I'm going to show you this on market profile as well. I think we actually sort of raid these lows down here first, and then we go up. But we have to see if that is indeed the case. We could also just start rotating sideways in a slow bleed to the downside like this, and then just go lower, okay? And if it goes lower here, right, then I'm quite happy to wait for that retest. There'll be a retest to the highs to confirm that this is now resistance, and then we're going to go much lower, okay? That's the bearish case scenario. So this is for me the less likely scenario, but it is possible, right? So we just have to wait and observe. This is previous resistance. This is important. And then it got flipped, right? Resistance, resistance, resistance. The price rallied up above, and we haven't even tested that as support, okay? So previous resistance turns to support, so the price would need to come to around about here. That's around about $39,000, $38,800, okay? So let's have a quick look at Exocharts and just see if this makes any sense, right? So I've got an anchored VWAP here from the lows, and you can see that's exactly where the price is stopped. Okay, the price is being supported at that level there, and the price is stalled at the highs there from a previous anchored VWAP as well that I had from this swing high here, not this previous one because we broke above it. So I moved on to the back one, and that's exactly where the price stalled. Okay, so far so good. I apologize, I've got a cold as well, so I'm a little bit snuffly. So that's what we're seeing. This is the volume profile for the daily. Let's have a look at the market profile for the day. So where are we right now? I did say to you guys last week, in fact no, it was Wednesday, I explained the anatomy of this move here, right? And I explained why we were being pushed down and why I would expect it to find a little bit of support at these levels, right? So we are now. We actually found support at that level there. You can see here that these are the single prints, right? $39,000, $40,000, and that's exactly where the price is stalled, right? Right about there. It actually almost to the dollar, as you can see that there. I also said that the price is very likely to start printing a sort of like a little bottom here, and then before we go up, we would raid these lows down here, okay? And this is, it's got a lot of confluence with the level that I've been watching, which is the previous resistance, right? So we've got some single prints here where the market traveled so quickly out of this range, and everybody that was short here got stopped, right? So you've got these single prints at around about $39,000, and you've also got a composite volume profile here on the right, a 2-month composite volume profile, and you can see you've got a high volume cluster, which is where we've been rotating sideways. Low volume area above, which was resistance, low volume area below, which is support, and the value area low of that has perfect confluence with previous resistance at round about $38,800. Okay, so again, there's plenty of confluence at that level. So we would have to be very careful, and I mean that in in a flippant way. Okay, so at these levels it's an optimal place to enter along, but it's also the riskiest place, right? Because if we go straight through it, then it's quite likely that we go and test these lows down here. So maximum risk equals maximum opportunity. So if you're thinking about longs, you can either enter partially along here and put another partial order around about here if you're a little bit more experienced, or you can just wait. Okay, but so the next level of support here is around about $38,800, and I do expect this level to hold. If it doesn't, then the bulls are wrecked, and I think that this was just a fake out, even though we printed a higher high. So this was a high, we just printed a higher high here, and this was indeed just a dead cat bounce, right? In terms of market structure, this is a high, came back below, and then we've just broken that, right? Just broken above that. So that's a break in market structure to the upside. Now we would like to print a higher low. Okay, so as long as it stays higher than this one at around about $37,000, then that's great. But we'll have to wait and see. Okay, in the extreme scenario, it is possible that we come all the way down here and still bounce there. But I'm not interested. That's too risky for me. I'm not interested at these lows to go long. Okay, down here I'll be short. For me, the last area of support for me is around about $39,000. So I hope that is clear. I don't want to be just repeating the same thing again, and I've already done like 20 minutes in vain, so I do apologize about that. But so that's basically what I'm seeing right now. Okay, so the level of support is this one. If we break below it, then of course this is a high volume cluster below, right? And I think that means we've got acceptance in this balance. And we go and test these levels down here, okay, and take out all of these naked pointer controls. There's one at around about $38,000. There's another one at $37,000 and another one at around about $35,000. Okay, so levels to the upside. We've also got some single prints. Right, my computer just decided to freeze. Things are not going too well today. Okay, so Exocharts is just packed up. I'm not sure why. At least the connection is working. So basically what I'm seeing here, right, and I'm just going to put that fixed range again, at least until Exocharts comes back down. What I'm seeing here is this previous level of resistance. You can see that there's a big ledge here, big ledge in volume. This is the edge of the high volume cluster, okay? I do think that the price needs to bounce there. If the price does not bounce there, then I think we're going to go much lower. Okay. Additionally, in terms of price action, I've got a rectangle here. I'm going to put it in blue here, and this is basically a breaker, bullish breaker. Okay, and what I mean by that is that we were printing higher highs and higher lows, and then we broke to the downside. So we took out the previous lows, and immediately this low candle got engulfed by a very bullish candle. Okay, so this is a bullish breaker, and I expect this to hold as support. Right, again, it adds confluence around about $38,800, $39,000, something like that. Okay, so I think it's okay even if the price comes down here, but I don't want to see it take more than the mean. Okay, I don't want it to see the price go below the halfway line inside of this bullish breaker. Okay, for me that's a sign that is a sign of weakness, and I think we're going to go much lower there. Okay, so around about $37,800 is the where I would put my stops if I was looking at a long. Okay, so effectively what I'm looking for, because Exocharts is just packed up, is that even if we come down here, I expect the price to come all the way back here and start rotating sideways, and perhaps even knocking at this resistance before breaking to the upside. Okay, that's the bullish case scenario. The bearish case scenario is that we just break this anchored view up. In fact, the price is coming down now. It's at $40,000. Okay, and if we carry on dumping, right, and go straight through this level here, the breaker, and then confirm that the previous resistance was not support and it is indeed resistance again, then this is the entry for the short. and we target these levels down here around about $31,000. That's the bearish case scenario for Bitcoin. Okay, so it is quite possible, right? Even though in terms of market structure and in terms of price action, I am quite bullish on Bitcoin here. I do think that it's possible that we go lower. It's completely normal, especially in the current climate, political climate, right? So we'll just have to wait and see. Seeing if EXO is working again. Here we go. We're working again. Don't know what happened there. Levels to the upside we were thinking about. So we had quite a significant drop, and because of that significant drop, we've left some single prints behind. This single print is an interesting level. Okay, so this is a first level of resistance, is around about $41,300. If we can break above that, then I think it's very likely that we go to $43,000, $44,000, where we've also left, there's a point of control there, and we've also left some poor highs around about 44,200. This first level of resistance also has confluence with the composite volume profile for the last 2 months. You've got a point of control for this composite volume profile, and it lines up almost perfectly with yesterday's value area low and with these single prints, right? So this is the next significant level of resistance. You can see that the price is extended to the lows now, right? So we might actually see this whilst I'm streaming, that we go to the lows and take that $38,000, but we'll have a look. The levels to the upside is basically $41,400, $41,500, right? If we can break above that, then I think it's very likely that we go and take this poor high and this point of control, okay? And then we'll have to wait and see when we get back inside this level, right? Which will be what I was saying about rotating just sideways here, like that, right? So we'll have to wait and see about that. So that's the levels of resistance and the targets for the upside. Levels of support I've already given you, $38,800, $39,000, right? At the absolute lowest, around about 38,000. But I don't like the idea of that because it's a high balance area there, high volume area, which is balance area, and that means that we would be back inside of this cluster, and that means that we're quite likely to go further down. So we'll just have to wait and see. But targets to the downside really would be $38,000, $36,000, sorry, yeah, 38, 37, and around about $35,200, okay, naked points of control. And we've also got some poor lows there. We've got some equal lows down here that could be taken, and this is actually quite a poor low as well at these levels. There's no excess on that, so I would expect the price to come and correct this. This is just anomalies to the downside. So you got levels to the downside, you got levels to the upside. You understand the market dynamic as to why the price came to this level here, and here we are, 39,700. So maybe we go and test this level now. This would be interesting. So I would like to go long here, but I'm in the middle of a stream, so I better not do that. Anyway, so I think you've got some levels to the downside. This is time to pay attention at these levels, okay? So obviously this level wants to hold. If it doesn't, we're going to go much lower, and it will drag everything down with it, Ethereum and all the altcoins, okay? If we are indeed bullish, then this is a level that we're going to bounce, the optimal place for an entry, and we bounce, and I expect a very violent move to the upside where it will trap everybody that is short at these lows, okay? So we'll just have to wait and see, but we do weekend as well coming up. Today is Friday. It's just going to be a little bit tricky. I don't like trading weekends. There's low liquidity in the market. There's usually a little bit of volatility, and you just can't make any sense of a price action. So I don't trade at weekends. Plus the kids are on school holiday, so I'm going to have the weekend off. But you got some targets to the downside. You got some targets to the upside. You know that you should be on the right side of the trades now. I really hope that you guys didn't get affected on this last drop. I gave you plenty of notice. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go and watch Monday's technical analysis update and also Wednesday's, where I gave these targets almost to the dollar. And I said that I expected this price to hit. So I really hope that you listened and you paid attention and you keep a close eye on Bitcoin, even if you are just in altcoins and playing other altcoins. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let's move on to Ethereum. I think everybody's clear. I hope everybody's clear on that. So let's just move on to Ethereum USD. And again, here we are. Exactly what we discussed on Wednesday. On the Wednesday technical analysis update, I said that we came and tested these lows. We got rejected there. And that even if Bitcoin pulled to around about 40k, which is exactly what we've just done, even though we're below now, 39,700, I would expect Ethereum to at least test the low edge of this high volume cluster. So first of all, we tested the lows and then we rallied. We were back inside of this cluster. And I was hoping that it would find this area here around about $3,000, big round number, to find that as support, right? We didn't, and we actually are testing the edge of this high volume cluster yet again, right? So we're right on the edge there. So what happens now? We've got a nice little break, a nice little order block here on the daily. Okay, I expect that to hold as support. Okay, if it doesn't and the price gets below it, then it's very likely that even if we come to the upside here, that this is now resistance and the price will come down. Okay, maybe not as low as that. You've got a low volume node here, around about $2,000, so that's an important level. If you're in a short, that's a level that you want to be looking for a bounce. And then we've also got the point of control at around about $1,800, and then the third and final target for about $1,500. Okay, so if you're in a short from the highs here with an invalidation at around about $3,000, then I'll be targeting these lows down here and perhaps take partial profits there, and final target there. Okay, that's what I'm looking for downside for Ethereum. The bullish case scenario for Ethereum is that Bitcoin bounces now, and you're probably wondering why the hell is he talking about Bitcoin when we're charting Ethereum. If you've been here long enough, you know that it doesn't matter what TA you do on any of these altcoins, including Ethereum. Doesn't matter how bullish it looks. If Bitcoin has a dump, it'll drag everything else down with it. So Bitcoin is like the barometer of crypto, and you should really pay attention to Bitcoin first and foremost before you start charting or doing TA on any other coin. So bear that in mind. And so here we are at the edge of another balance area here of the high volume cluster. So the bullish case scenario means that we bounce here, right? And we enter this area, confirm the low as support, and start rolling up, okay? And we start rotating inside of this area and perhaps even attempt at resistance here at $3,600, right? As we've seen previously, the price went up, came down, got rejected from this balance area, which is very bullish, and printed a nice big long green dildo there, right? So that's very bullish. In any other market, if it wasn't correlated to another asset like Bitcoin, this is a bullish pattern, and it would normally come and test the next level of resistance. That's just the way it is. But because Ethereum is completely dependent on Bitcoin, it couldn't even take the previous high. And so in terms of market structure, we're still printing lower highs, right? So what remains to be seen now is if we go and print a lower low, all right? If we print a lower low, then the previous level of support would be resistance, and we just go down here, and that's how it play out, right? So this level is really imperative, and it's really critical for the bulls, if you like. Okay, you can see that there's a low volume node there, and there's a big ledge there, so it is possible that we come a little bit further down, but it's really important that we just get out of this balance area, for the bulls anyway, right? That we get out of this balance area and get acceptance inside of this one here. So levels of support right now is exactly where we are, and perhaps even 2,700 and around about 2,500. Okay, I think at 2,500 is already a little bit tricky, because that means that this order block would have got taken out. So I'm looking at this red level there. You can see that little candle there, right, before the impulse. Okay, I'm looking at this for support, right? If we break below that, then the next targets will be to the downside. If we break above here, then the next target will be 2,700 $3,976. So let's say $3,000 as the first level of resistance, and then above that is $3,600 as the next level of resistance. So I hope that makes it clear, and I hope this helps you sort of like make a decision as to where we're likely to go. Okay, so everything depends on Bitcoin, of course. If Bitcoin just stabilizes now and just starts going sideways, I wouldn't be surprised to see a relief rally on most of the altcoins and Ethereum as well. But like I said, we are in a bit of an imbalance area in between two high volume clusters. So this needs to hold. If it doesn't, we go down below. If it holds and we bounce here, then the first level of resistance is around about $3,000 and then $3,600. So that's Ethereum versus USD. Let's have a look actually on the Exocharts, the market profile, see if we find any more clues here. Okay, so previous resistance was indeed this anchored view up that we've got from the highs here. We got very close to that point of control, but we didn't even take it. So this is from the swing high up there. You can see that the price got rejected there once. Here you couldn't even get anywhere near it, and then here we faked above it, and here we couldn't get it. Faked above it, came below it again, and then we tried to take it, and we got stopped there. So here we are now. We've got an anchored view up from the lows. That's exactly where the price is kind of like hovering. And more importantly, I'll remove that. You see, you've got some single prints at this level here, right? So I highlighted this for you guys on Wednesday's TA update. And if you didn't see it, please go back and watch that. And I said that if Bitcoin was to pull back to 40k, Ethereum would very likely come and test this level here. We haven't even done that. So actually Ethereum doesn't look too bearish, right? It looks like it's holding up better than Bitcoin. It's, even though it dumped, it didn't break previous support here, right? So we're just at the range lows. So it's actually not looking too bad here for Ethereum USD. But if we do see a little flush to the downside, then all these levels will be taken out. Okay, and the first one is single prints here at, don't know why it's not showing me, around about $2,750, $2,700, something like that. You can see here from the composite volume profile, this is also a low volume area, right? And then if we get below that, so I expect a bounce here, 2,700, right? If we fall below that, then 2,600 is the next level for point of control, naked point of control, and then we've got another one here, 2,400 as well. Okay, so of course if we get to these levels down here, then we're going to see much lower prices, just like I showed you on the candlestick chart. But for now, on the market profile, these are the levels that I'm looking for. Levels to the upside, obviously. $3,000 is a big round number. This is a level that you want to watch out to go to the upside first and foremost. And if we break above that, then 3,200 and 3,400 the next levels of resistance with these naked points of control. Okay, then we've got a big gap and we've got a low volume node around about $3,650. Okay, $3,650. $3,650 is exactly here between these areas of balance. So you see how this all starts to come together now when you look at volume and you look at the market profile. So it's basically just an imbalance area. It's the next level of resistance where we had found support before and then we broke below it, and now we just need to confirm that as resistance. Okay, so at this level here is resistance, and I wouldn't be going bullish if we do get there. Okay, at this level this is resistance and it's time to sell. At these levels here it's time to buy. Okay, at the lows you buy, at the high you sell. That's as simple as that. So anyway, let's have a look at Ethereum BTC and see where we are right now. So like I said, Ethereum is actually doing quite well compared to Bitcoin, despite this dump. We haven't done a break in market structure. We didn't print a higher high, but we have printed a higher low, and the market has not, even though we dumped a little bit on Ethereum yesterday and we are back below the $3,000 level, we're about 2,800, which is exactly the price that I said we would be at. So again, if you don't believe me, go and watch Wednesday's TA update. I'm not trying to brag, I'm just saying that it kind of all makes sense, and it makes me quite happy when I trade these assets, because they're just so technical. Doesn't matter if there's a war COVID dumps, whatever. It's just like these levels get hit all the time. It's just technical analysis is amazing. But anyway, you can see that we bounced here at this level here, which is the value area high of this whole profile here. You can see there's a high volume cluster, which is basically where I've highlighted it in blue. We've tested the lows, we've come and tested high here, and now we're kind of looks like we're doing constructive price action. Okay, so where am I looking here at Ethereum versus BTC? At the moment we've printed a higher low, so looking for a higher high. If it does that, then it's a break in market structure, and I do expect Ethereum to start doing like sort of constructive price action all the way to this level of resistance at around about 80,000 sats. If we get to 80,000 sats, that's obviously resistance. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little pullback, and even if it comes all the way back here, it's quite likely that it will curl up and start hovering at this resistance. If we start hovering here, that's bullish, and we're very likely to come and take the next level of resistance at around about 88,000 sats. Alright, this is basically me just formulating a plan for the next few weeks. Okay, I'll have another TA update where we can observe this and see if indeed we are bullish or not, but I'm just giving you ideas. So the next levels of resistance are up here and then up here, right? These here are very easy to take out as we are so close to them, and it does look like we've just bounced and printed a higher low, right? So this is a low, and this is a higher low. So we'll see. Of course, if the price comes below this one and starts showing weakness, then that's a break in market structure. And then when we try to go back higher again, this previous low is now resistance, and we go test this level down here. Okay. If we fall out of this high volume cluster here, this whole consolidation area, okay, the most likely case scenario is that we range here, right? So at the moment it looks like we are on the way up, and we could just range and even come and test the lows, come back high again. But at the moment it does look like we're on the way up. If we break below this low volume node here, right, which is support, then the next levels of support are these two, but they're a bit flimsy, and then we've got a very low volume node here at around about 56,000 sats, and I do expect that to hold. So now you've got some quite a few levels there of support and resistance, and I've rationalized it for you so that you guys know what to look for if the price does get there. Okay, so again, at the lows we buy, at the highs we sell. So just keep that in mind, right? So there's nothing to be scared of. At the moment, this is an opportunity for buying, for Bitcoin anyway, for Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else. But people are scared. People just, you know, it's an emotional thing. Trading is not for everyone, I must admit. But anyway, that's what I'm seeing here on Ethereum BTC. I do think that this is constructive price action. You could probably do a little, in fact, I'm going to do it, a little trend line there. There's 3 taps of that line, right? You can even argue with me and go that way, so that it's like we're actually looking at the no, that's 3 taps. That's not even up for discussion. That's 3 taps, and that's a little trend line. Okay, of course, if we break below that, it has perfect confluence with the bottom of this. If it breaks below that, it would look something like this. Then it'll come and test that edge again, and then go much lower, right? So, and it's not because of the trend line, it's actually because of this high volume cluster. But it seems to line up with the trend line as well. So, you know, trend is a trend, right? So it does look like we are on a higher time frame sort of thing. On a weekly, for instance, we're printing higher highs, okay? But if you look at it closely on the daily, you can see that we're printing lower highs, right? So we're just kind of going sideways a little bit. You can see here, up and down, up and down, up, deviation, back down again. And at the moment it looks like we're on the way up again, okay? So in a cycle of things, when things start going a little bit smaller and smaller and get tighter and tighter for consolidation, you can see, like, you know, things get smaller and smaller like this. I can't even remember what this is called now, but it does look like we are on the way up here, okay? So we're about somewhere around about there, and we're going all the way up before we come back down again. So we'll have to wait and see, but that's what I'm saying right now on Ethereum. I do expect the price to go a little bit higher first, and again, the first levels of resistance would be around about 80,000 sats, and if we break that, it'll be around about 90,000 sats. So I waffled on about Ethereum for long enough now. Let's have a look at FODL versus Tether. And FODL, wow, this is nice big wick yet again. You see these quite often here on OkeX. It's a big buy, and I'm not surprised because of everything that's going on with FODL. But you can see that very large accumulation at these levels, and it looks like we've regained this this market structure, right? And this was just a deviation. So we need to stay above this level here around about 24 cents in order for it to be bullish. For me, there's not enough granularity in this chart, so I'm going to have a look at FODL versus USD. I look at this one just because it's nice to see the accumulation is still carrying on, and you can see here increasing volume on the way up. That's always a good sign. So here we are, FODL versus USD on sushiswap. So it's FODL versus USDC. And like I said to you guys, if you don't believe me, going back and look at that technical analysis update from Wednesday, I said this is a low volume area, and usually the price travels very quickly through there. We found resistance here first on the 16th, I think it was when we were talking about it. We found resistance here first. We came back, had a little pullback. We bounced on the edge of this high volume node here, and we come and tested the next one, right? So like I said to you guys before, these low volume areas tend to act as support or resistance, and now we are above it, so I expect this to hold as support right now. Okay, we're right there, so you know we're around about 24 to 25 cents here on FODL, and this is a nice little run from the lows. Okay, so what I'd like to see here on FODL now is that if we can break above this VWAP, you can see I've got an anchored VWAP from this swing high there, right? Price got rejected there, we came much lower, and now here we are again. If we can break above these levels here, then this is now support, and really we want to be trading at around about 30 cents. Okay, so again, this is a low volume area, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the price travel very quickly through here to the next level of resistance. Okay, so what does that look like? It could possibly look like this, like this, like this, and so on, right? If we get back to this level of resistance, very low volume node that's not been tested a lot, so I do expect the price to just rotate sideways here, and the previous levels of previous low areas of volume will act now as support, and that's where the price should stay. So it would be trading around about 30 cents, right, between 30 and 37 cents. So that's what I'm seeing here for FODL. Of course, for now we're still at resistance, right? So it is quite likely that we get sort of like a little bit sideways and do this sort of thing that we were doing here for 5 days, where we're just going sideways. But we'll have to wait and see. Ideally, we want to see a bounce. In fact, I'm going to mark them out here. This level should be green now. It should be acting as support. And in fact, I'm going to move it a little bit higher, just to the edge of this high volume node, right? So 23 cents should act as support now, even if we come below it. And these are still levels of resistance, because even though we got above it, we've not closed the candle there, right? So, but we want to see a candle close above here for a chance to either rotate sideways here, or maybe even go to the next level and start rotating up there. I hope that makes it clear. So next levels of resistance around about 25 cents. Next level of support is around about 23 cents. But then we've also got 20 cents here as the next level of support. So you've got some levels of resistance, you've got some levels of support. Let's move on to FODL versus ETH. And now this is very nice to see. And again, go and look at the technical analysis on Wednesday, where I was talking about this exact move. So let's move these here, put them green as support. I'm going to make this one a big one, this dotted area here, because it's where the point of control is, right? So I think on the 16th we were down here somewhere, right? And I said I wouldn't be surprised to see the price, you know, it would be nice, this is probably resistance, but it would be nice to see the price kind of rotate back inside of this range. That's exactly what we did. We found resistance above, which is a low volume node, and now I expect the price to do something like this. Okay, maybe even test those highs, come back inside the range. Okay, below us we've got in sort of context, we've got a low volume area here and a fairly low volume area, so we've got some levels of support there for confluence. This point of control should be decent support, so we might not even rotate below this one, so we might just do something like this. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see, but the important thing is that we're back inside of this balance. Okay, this consolidation, nice big balance area. So even if we come all the way down here, don't worry, it's a good opportunity for you to buy. I do not think that we're going to see these lows down here unless something horrendous happens in the crypto markets. Okay, like I said, Bitcoin does rule everything, so it is possible, but this is a nice recovery here from FODL, considering that Bitcoin just had a massive move to the downside. Nice little recovery there. I just saw the comment. Thanks, Jay. Jay just commented, so many things from the last TA that it played out beautifully. You and Boas are machines. Thanks, man. It's just, you know, I think it's just spending so much time looking at these charts that you kind of start to make sense of it, basically. But again, yeah, so I do expect this this level here to act as support, but we could rotate inside of the of that balance zone. If we break to the upside, then this is the next level here of resistance, and if we break above that, then that means we've entered a nice big balance area, big high volume cluster. Okay, this would look something like this, and if we confirm that as support, then it's off to the races, and we're going to this level down here, up here. Okay, this would be, it's not going to be dead straight. I mean, it was here, I guess, but I do expect the price to do something like this, maybe to get up here, but who knows, right? See the way that the price kind of moved here, I wouldn't be surprised to see a big move to the upside, but the more likely event is that we get stopped at these little low volume nodes here. Just have to pay attention to that. Then it bounces on the previous level of resistance, takes on the next level of resistance is now support, and then goes on to the next level, and so on. Okay, that's what kind of what is expected. But the key thing here is that we've actually got back inside of this balance, so I'd be quite happy to trade this and just see the price of FODL just going a little bit sideways and catch a breath before we can actually move to the upside. Because this is a low volume node, I would expect this move to be very violent, the same way as this one. Okay, and it will be very sudden to get to the upside. The question will be if we can confirm this as support, previous resistance as support, and do a support resistance flip like this, or if we get rejected there and we come back down again. So we'll just have to wait and see, but that's what I expect price to do on FODL versus ETH. So a quick look at AAVE versus USD. Unsurprisingly, all of these coins will be down today, right? Especially versus USD. But okay, so we've lost this previous level of support. It's now going to be resistance, but it's not too bad. We didn't see a massive pullback on AAVE, to be honest. So that's not too bad at all, right? So again, I just expect the price to go sideways a little bit, and as long as we stay above these previous lows, it's not too bad. Okay, this was a low here, and we've just broke that market structure, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this actually kind of come to this level of resistance and come and test these lows down here again. But if Bitcoin behaves and starts going upwards, then it's quite likely that this just rallies up from here. So we'll just have to wait and see. But nothing much has changed since Wednesday. I'm still a little bit bearish. I'm perhaps a little bit more bullish now because I want to see a Bitcoin bounce now that we've pulled back. But I don't think that alts are still very much lagging behind the majors. So I don't think that these are going to start leading anytime soon. I think Bitcoin is still very much in control here, in charge, right? So I do expect this to have a little bit of a pullback again. $136 is the next level of support, which is also a low volume node, and around about $99 is the next low volume node here. So this will be the next level of support. That's FODL versus USD. Of course, levels of resistance above $200 there is a nice big round number, and also $250 is a big low volume node there. So this is significant resistance at these levels here. And so this level here, I'm talking about significant resistance around about $250, and then obviously around about $190, $200 is the next levels of resistance. Okay, it does look like 160 is going to be also a little bit of resistance now, but we've still got an opportunity to bounce there, so we'll have a wait and see. There is a low volume node there, but if this decides to go on a tear, these are the levels of resistance that you'll be looking for. You don't want to be taking longs at these levels here. Okay, levels of support I've already highlighted, so let's move on to AAVE versus BTC. AAVE versus BTC, very much like what I said on Wednesday, it's very likely that now we go and test these areas down here. So first level of support here, around about 3,250 sats, and then the next one around about 2,700 sats. Okay, these are again based on low volume nodes and high volume clusters. So we'll have to wait and see, but again, still bearish on these coins, especially versus Bitcoin and Ethereum. Right, so on the way down, we've just entered a balance area. Usually we tend to firm up balance by testing both sides of it, so I'm expecting more down price. AAVE versus ETH is going to be very much the same thing. We got rejected at this anchored VWAP here, which is a nice big order block, and we're just going to go lower and lower and retrace this whole liquid move, which is exactly what I said that we would do, and so here we are. We do have a nice level of support here, which is a nice little order block here, a breaker. So yeah, it is quite possible that we have a little bounce there, but we've got more downside to go regarding AAVE versus ETH. Compound versus USD. I'm going to delete that scribble. And we lost that level of support now, which again is unsurprising considering Bitcoin just dumped. But we are at this high volume cluster here, and it's also the point of control. So this is at like a bit of an inflection point. If we get below this point of control, then this point of control here, which is just shifted, it used to be up there, right? You see where the line was? That line was on the point of control. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, like that. That was on the point of control, and the point of control is just shifted down, right? So this should act as support, and the price is just below it. If we cannot get back above it, then I think the next level of support is where we're going, around about $100 and then $81. If we can get back above this, then the next levels of resistance will be $150, $170, and $200 respectively. Okay, so this point of control is like a pivotal, it's a pivot basically, it's a pivotal point here. We want to get back above this in order to have a chance to go up. If not, that will be resistance, and it will carry on being resistance even if we come all the way down here and then come and test the upside. That'll be resistance, okay, because it is the point of control. We'll have to wait and see. So compound versus USD, I'm looking, it's at a bit of an inflection point, so it's hard to say because it's at the point of control. It's hard to say which way it's going to go. That's the fair price, but if we can't get above it, then we're going to go much lower. Compound versus BTC, well, we just keep breaking these lows and the all-time lows again and again and again. So continuation for me, okay? You know, lower highs, lower lows since July, right? So why would it change now? I'm not seeing anything that will change right now. So these are still in a downtrend, and this is still resistance here. I'm going to put this as one like that. Resistance, resistance, and levels of support. You're just going to have to look at big round numbers, like 300 sats and 250 sats, 200 sats, and so on. Sorry, I just had to get a drink of water. Compound versus ETH, very much the same story. We keep breaking all-time lows. So again, there's no reference to the downside here in terms of previous price action. So you just have to look at big round numbers such as 400 here, and then 350, 300, 200, and so on. Okay. Again, continuation, right? It's just lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Nothing's changed. So I do expect Ethereum and Bitcoin to keep outperforming these altcoins. But versus USD, as basic attention token, You can see that BAT, we kind of battled with 95 cents to try and get above there to see if we could rotate inside of this area here, and we couldn't do that, right? So we're inside of this balance area here, which is this green rectangle, which I'll actually make it into a blue rectangle or gray rectangle. You can see that there's a high volume cluster there. So I expect the price to rotate to this side now. But there is 65 cents should be a decent level of support. You can see previous support, and it got tested here as well, support. It has been tested many times, so it is possible that it goes straight down because it's been tested so many times, but it could also bounce there. So if you're short here, then make sure you take profit around about 65 cents. Do not take trades from 65 cents. This is the middle of the range, and you don't know, it's not very good risk to reward, right? But again, for me, my bias is that this coin is going to go a little bit lower, and it's going to test right about 50-cent mark, right? If it gets down here, I'm interested in buying. If it comes and tests these highs here, I'm interested in selling. It's as simple as that. In the mid-range, it's just to take profit, okay? My bias is that we printed a higher high, higher low, higher high, and now we broke that market structure with printing a low that is lower than this one, right? So even if we come all the way up here now, for me, that's an entry for a short, and I'll be targeting first this area here, 65 cents, and then this area here. I hope I made that very clear. BAT versus BTC. Again, this is previous support. We got below it, and we haven't even tested that as resistance yet. But 2,000 sats should be the first level of resistance. The next level of support is around about 1,600 sats and 1,300 sats. Okay, you can see there's previous consolidation here, right? So it is quite possible that we do something like this and we start rotating sideways. But either way, this is a continuous break in market structure. Okay, so it's previous higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, so on. We broke that previous low, we tested a little bit above, and then we just dumped down, right? So again, we haven't even tested these yet, but I do expect that we perhaps take these lows here, and with this large liquid move here, I wouldn't be surprised to see the price coming all the way back there again. So again, I'm bearish on BAT versus BTC, and I think BAT will carry on being outperformed by Bitcoin. BAT versus Ethereum is very much the same thing. There's no point of covering this again and again. It's exactly the same thing. There's some levels of support down here. Levels of resistance haven't even been tested yet, but we've broke the market structure, okay? And so even if we go back up here again, I do expect to find resistance and go and test these levels down here. Simple as that, okay? So Link versus USD, very much the same. This is a previous level of resistance. So it's a low volume node, if you like. I'll put the star there so I've got my tools there. And I'm going to delete that a second. So we got rejected at this low volume node, and now we're very close to the previous low volume node down here, right? So this is previous support. We got bought there. And again, it's around about $15, so it's not surprising. Nice big round number, $15 is the next level of support, okay? $14.90, something like that. If this doesn't hold, then the next level of support would be around about here, $12.66, $13. And if that doesn't hold, then $10, okay? And there's another level of support around about $7 here. But in fact, there's another one that's a little bit closer, which is the edge here, right? So $9.29, $10 for support. This here is the next level of support, $12.55, and the closest level of support is around about here, where we are right now, at around about $15, $14.95. I do expect this is a break in market structure. I do expect Link to carry on putting lower lows. Okay, continuation. If we break to the upside, then the next levels of resistance are $17.50, and then $20. And surprisingly, big round number, and then $26, $27, something like that, okay? If we can break above, just illustrate that, if we could break above this one here, like this, right, and confirm that as support, then it's very likely that we come and test this one, okay? So we come all the way up here, and then we either rotate sideways in between these two low volume nodes and see which one breaks first, and if that was to break to the upside first, then we want to see this now act as support. Previous resistance turns to support, and then we'll be rotating between those levels there. Okay, but at the moment I'm not seeing, that's the bullish case scenario, I'm not seeing any indication of that. Okay, all I see is lower highs and lower lows, right? So I do expect this level here at least to have a tap, if you like. So that's Link versus USD. Link versus BTC. We're right at support. This is a low volume node here. I'm going to adjust this. See that there's an edge there, edge of the low volume cluster. But this is where the low volume node is there. And it's been tested quite a few times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times now. So I don't know if it will hold, but if it doesn't, then you know the next levels of support here, around about 3,300 sats, 3,100 sats, and 2,800 sats, right? So these, again, based on volume profile. The next levels of resistance are 4,266 sats. That's the point of control. It's an important one, so I'll make that a little bit thicker. And then we've got 4,888 sats and 5,500 sats as the next levels of resistance, and many more on the way to the upside. But again, we're still breaking market structure. We're still printing lower low. Actually, yes, in a shorter time frame, we've printed lower highs and lower lows, but we've not taken these previous lows. So we'll have to wait and see, right? So if this breaks to the downside like this, this will now be very strong resistance, and it's safe to target this level down here, right, at around about 2,600 sats. If, of course, we bounce here, then this is the next level of resistance, and we have to take that, or otherwise we're going to be rotating like this. And eventually this will break, right, because this level of support is not going to hold on forever, right? So if we take this point of control, we want to get back above it, confirm it as support, and then we can start rotating in a different way, right, and creating a market structure, a positive market structure. Link versus ETH. I've already had a few scribbles there, as you can see here. If this level of support here does not hold, right, we're still, very bearish, right? We printed a higher high, but then we couldn't print the higher low. We took that previous market structure here. In fact, if this is the low here, we've not quite taken it yet. Make sure I delete all of those scribbles. Right, so we've not quite taken this low yet. We could bounce here, and these are the levels of resistance above, okay? I'd like to see price do something like this. Nice constructive bit of price action, and just see if we can rotate above that. If we cannot do that, and the price breaks this level of support of where we are right now, which is around about 5,300 way, then that means we've printed a lower low, right, and we've also entered a high volume cluster, right? So there's a low volume node there. This is where we're at right now. If we enter this high volume cluster here, you can see that there, right? If we enter this high volume cluster, then it's very likely to go and test both sides of it, right? With the only thing that gets in the way of that is this point of control around about 3,600 way. So what would that look like? Price comes back below it, and then the previous level of support is now resistance, and the price starts rolling over. If it does that, then you know that this is an entry for a short, and I'll be looking at these levels down here. Okay? Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do with your money or with your trades. This is just for educational and information purposes and entertainment purposes. So please don't go and just copy my trades or do anything. I have a strict risk management process. I don't just press buy and press sell. There's actually a process and a method to the madness. So please bear that in mind. Okay, I'm just trying to give you. Try to tell you my interpretation of the charts. That's all it is, right? So anyway, Link versus ETH is again an inflection point. We could see a little bit of a move to the upside, but I believe in continuation. I think this is continuation, and we're going to go a little bit lower if all the other coins and all the other charts are anything to go by. Uni versus USD finally. Let's delete all those scribbles. And here we are, same thing again. We are at support, okay, low volume node there. As you can see, there's a low volume node here, another low volume node there, and another one here, okay. So that's the lowest one, that's where we are right now, and then that's the one above there, okay. So what does that mean? It means that we are at support, this is resistance, and if we break this support, then these two are the next levels of support, okay. You can see that being a low volume area. I've put a green rectangle there, but we've battered it, we've hit it so many times now. So this eventually will break to the downside. So unless we start rotating sideways here and do something like this, but eventually one of these levels is going to break. The resistance has only been tested once. Support's been battered, right? So let's just wait and see how interested people are at buying at $10. Okay, it held very well. If you take in consideration the extent of the dump and the panic in the markets in Bitcoin yesterday, we've dumped like 6%, and I mean, yeah, I suppose that's 9% here on Uni, but it's not broken significant market structure, right? We're just at support again, that's all. So it's, you know, not too bad. Okay, this is very difficult. If it was just lower lows, lower highs, then I'd be more inclined to say that Uni is going much lower. But at the moment, I mean, obviously on the higher time frames, you can see that it is indeed lower highs and lower lows, right? So I expect continuation, but this could be the beginning of a reversal. So you just have to keep that in mind, okay? I'm gonna illustrate that by putting a little trend line there. You can see there's about 4 taps of that trend line there now, okay? That's definitely a trend up on the daily, at least on the lows, right? So we'll just have to wait and see. If we break that, then obviously we're going to go lower. But Uni versus US dollar is looking a little bit better shape. Okay, $10, obviously it's unsurprising, it's a big round number. So of course people are going to buy at this level. And I think that's probably the cheapest you're going to get, considering we've just had a massive dump on Bitcoin and the price didn't even go below that. And in fact, you can see here, in fact, no, it's okay. Ignore that. I was just going to say that there's a big sign of accumulation there. There isn't. It's just price going sideways. Okay, so there's not really much more to say that about Uni. Uni versus BTC. Let's have a look at how is that doing. Again, that looks a lot worse, right? Lower highs, lower lows. Lower highs, lower lows. And here we are. I think the next level I highlighted here is exactly where we're going, right? Around about 2,200 sats. So that's where I expect the price to go next on Uni versus Bitcoin. All right, we've entered the balance area. We come and tested the edge of that balance area. Price could not get above it, so now we firm up balance by touching both sides of the balance. Okay, if we break below this level here, we probably test it again as resistance, and we go and test this level here. Okay, it's exactly what we've done here. We've entered the balance, tested the edge, and now we're on our way lower. So again, on Uni versus Bitcoin, I'm seeing that it's a lot more bearish than Uni versus USD. So let's move on to Uni versus ETH. Very much the same thing. Okay, you can see the price curling up slightly here. I'm going to take that as support. Just because Bitcoin has been so bearish, then it's only natural that this is just going sideways like this. But yeah, level of support. We did break below it, but now we're just back above it again. So the next levels of resistance carry on being around about 400 way, and then 450 way, 475 and 530 way. All right, and then we're just kind of going sideways here. So this could well just do something like this. And just kind of have no clear direction, but just range trade, okay? So just trading between the ranges. At the moment, it does look like it doesn't want to go below this level here, okay? Around about 360 way or 350 way. So for now, that's the bottom, right? So, and there's no significant levels of support below that. As you can see here, there's no previous price action. So if we get below that, then you'll have to look at 300, 200, 100, and so on, right? Big round numbers. If we go above it, then you look at the previous levels that I've already marked out here. Red is resistance, green is support. So it's as simple as that, right? So again, with Uni versus ETH, I'm not seeing anything bullish, but it does look like it wants to turn around. So Uni is not looking too bad compared to the rest. So that brings me to the end of this technical analysis. I do apologize for the first 20 minutes. I don't even know if this is going to be recorded or not. But I don't know what was happening. For some reason it wasn't streaming. So very long technical analysis, but I'll do the timestamps now, and hopefully this will make it easier for you guys to find the particular coin that you want to look at. I won't be able to edit the video because obviously this is a live stream, so you'll just have to look at the timestamps and move on to the right area. I hope this technical analysis update has helped you in any way. I hope the Wednesday technical analysis update helped you as well gauge where we were going to come at the end of the week. And yeah, trade smart. Stay away from trading at the weekends. It's really not worth it. There's so much more to do rather than just trading and standing in front of a screen at the weekend. I'm going to do the same. So anyway, I'll see you guys on Monday, and until then, I hope you have a great weekend. Speak soon. Take care.